What a time.
What a time.
What a time.
Oh my gosh.
But
what a time.
Well, when she's telling me like, yo, I know we got our one kid, you know, I always saw myself having 3 kids, and I know you only want one, so I really want to talk about if we have a second. And in that moment, I understood, you know, in our recent, you know, stage of trying to communicate, but I realized on the past, I would never be like, bitch, fuck you mean, snap the fuck out. But I would just kind of be annoyed and kind of shut down because like, what the fuck you mean, you bring me a kid, you know, I don't want da-da-da type shit. But I took that moment, breathe, process. I said, you know what, I will think about it, and that'll be that, and we can talk about that later, whatever. So now, to be honest, full transparency, I thought about it for 7 seconds, and I said, no way fucking hell. It's not my even thinking past this dinner table for real. It's over and done with. But like, you know what? When you said it last time, like, I think you really should think about it. I thought about it some more for 7 more seconds. And
you still on it.
It's not happening with it. So what was your thought when you said I should think about it? Like, what do you like? What was your reason behind it?
I felt like,
and also real quick, you can maybe wrap this. What do you think about in general, even off of me? How do you navigate those type of conversations?
Yeah, that's challenging.
With partners of like, it's a disconnect of like, oh, let's do this. Let's move out of town and let's, you know.
I went through the out of town stuff, but the kid dynamic, that's challenging, man. That's why I just told you to really consider it. And I feel like y'all should revisit it every 2 years, if anything. Like, it don't got to be a conversation that y'all have just once and then y'all just table it forever. I think that's fair. Every couple of years, you should revisit it and just see how you feel and what you think, because it leaves room for yourself to alter your opinion. It just hasn't happened yet. So that's my thoughts on it. And that's my thoughts on it. When anybody got to have those challenging conversations, don't never shut it down. Always be open to the idea of it, unless it's just against your morals. If it's against your morals and they really trying to press on you, then y'all probably not meant to be together because y'all don't morally align. But if it's just a preference thing and, you know, you want 3 kids, they want 1, and it's just like, I think that just keep presenting it and stay patient as the person that's asking, and stay patient on the other end as and open-minded as the person who's being asked. Just always be considerate, because once you combine and become partners, it's literally not just about what you want. And that's something that I personally am prepping myself for. Like, that I use this podcast relationship as a means of, I don't always got to have it my way. So that when I get back in a relationship, I wanted to be like, you know what? How she want to do it? Because I already been using this dynamic as an opportunity to be able to say, you know what? Although I'm strong about the way I see it, although I'm passionate, or I got the vision the way I wanted to go, let me be open to how this person see it, because 2 ways could work, right? So, you know, with that kid thing, you know, you might have a change of heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you might feel like this for a year. Queen might turn 8, and you might really be like, oh, you know what? Babe, let's talk about it again. But the moment you shut her down, I feel like you start the back end of the whatever it's going to be in the long term that might be, you know, an issue. I think that it immediately starts the moment you completely shut the convo down. But if you keep it open-ended, look, let's revisit it in 6 months. Let's talk about it in a year. I think that you keep the life of it open and keep her optimistic, and it keep y'all both settled, and I think y'all can just continue to work through it.
And it's not manipulative.
No,
it's
absolutely
a real way to just like, I'm respecting your thought and
and I'm gonna just keep considering it.
Right.
It's not no, it's just not right now. And I think the manipulative thing would be to lie to her. Yeah, we're gonna do it in a year. We're gonna do it in 5 years. Give me 3 years, and I got you, knowing damn well you ain't gonna never do it. That's manipulation. But if you just communicating like, yeah, you know what? I don't really know right now. So let's revisit it. Let's be married for a year and let's see how we feel. Maybe you might have a change of heart. Maybe I might have a change of heart. And then just keep playing that out until y'all align and get on that one page. And I think that's healthy.
That's fair. I respect
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure. So, mama, if you're watching this, just saying what I said. So let me just leave it there. But I was going to talk about, like, I feel like we were talking about turbulence, right? Okay. Earlier, in an earlier episode, not earlier, but in an earlier episode, we was talking about turbulence, and I was like, man, I got multiple things to say in this regard, but so I'm gonna in real time get my thoughts together in front of y'all, because I want y'all to even see how this process works. But the first thought that comes to me is, a lot of the times when people, like, if life is a journey, right, and your journey is being conducted on a plane, right, and you the pilot, right, you know, you take off, right, and you coasting, you know what I'm saying, and life has turbulence, right? Life is going to come with its shit. Most people will jump off the plane and stop doing whatever it is they're doing at the first sign of turbulence. They're going to leave a relationship. They're going to leave a job. They're going to cut their friend off. They're going to stop that, whatever it is that's causing that turbulence. And essentially, you already 40,000 feet up into the air on your journey, but you're going to jump off the plane because of the riffraff that's happening within the dynamics of how things are operating. But the fact of the matter is, that's still not the most efficient, fastest, and safest way to get where you're trying to go. Whereas though if you be patient, embrace the turbulence of life, understand that everything comes with something, allow shit to play out, you'll realize that the turbulence gap versus the journey is not even something that's going to put a dent in it. It might be 10 minutes to a 2-hour flight. But the moment you go through that 10 minutes, you can't see out of it because you don't know how long it's going to last. You jump out the plane and now you leave the plane up in the sky and you forced to find another means of transportation. And that don't mean that because you're on the ground that's the best way to get there or the safest. It's just where you feel the most comfortable because you feel like you're in control with your boots on the ground versus allowing God to steer the co-pilot.
And that plane will keep going.
And that plane is going to keep going because the plane is the quickest, the fastest, and probably the safest way to get where you're trying to get to versus saying I'm going to drive 18 hours in Miami when you could just do a 3-hour flight because there's a little bit of turbulence. So when y'all think about your lives or whatever the case may be, just because you're going through a season of turbulence, don't jump off the plane. Allow the turbulence to pass. Have faith and know that it's not going to be as long as the journey itself, and it's not going to be for the entire journey. But the moment you jump out that motherfucking plane, it don't even matter because the amount of fucking pressure and velocity and shit you're going to experience on the way down is going to hit you way harder than any turbulence could ever. So the quickest, safest, and fastest way to get there is to have faith and knowing that once you start coasting, whatever it starts to be, just understand that this is the price you are paying to have what you want. You're going to have to give up something to accomplish something. It's just what it is, whether that's long nights, early mornings, cutting people off, or connecting with people that you didn't see yourself connecting with. There will be a price to pay when you're elevating, and that's what turbulence looks like. It looks like entry. It looks like paying that price. But if you get to the door and you're like, I ain't really trying to pay this 40 ball to get in here, then you might never meet the people that's on the other end of that door that you needed to run into if you would have just covered the tab. So, I'll say that. And then another thing, let's go pull up a topic. I got another thing that I was going to say, something that came to me earlier that I wanted to make sure that I spoke on. Let's see if I wrote it down.
I'll toss out there. Oh, I gotta go. It's going. I was talking to my man recently, and back to kids. Actually, he was saying that
I should have been talked about.
He doesn't want to have kids because he feels the benefits of kid are only theoretical and circumstantial. And he's like, yeah. So people say, oh, do it for like the joy and love, whatever. He's like, yeah, but if your kid, that's also depending on how your kid turns out. Yeah. If your kid turns a certain way, then what do you have in there? Oh, legacy, but your legacy can be. It's all dependent on certain things.
You about to be mad at me? You got your thought? My thought just came back to me.
What, that topic?
No, we're gonna go about the kids and the legacy. But no, another thing I was thinking about too, man. Another people going back to the whole plane. Your plane could be in the air and it's coasting, but you gotta understand about how planes work. If a plane take off and it's cleared to take off, right? A lot of people jump into shit and God clear them to take off, right? But a plane also has to be cleared to land, right? And in order for it to be able to be cleared to land, it has to be a space for it to land. A lot of y'all plane is stuck up in the sky and it's going nowhere and it's going in circles, and God can't take y'all where y'all trying to get to because y'all haven't created space for him to land the plane for you. And whatever that looks like could be cutting off people that you need to get away from, getting rid of habits that no longer serve you, becoming a better version of yourself, creating habits that do serve you, becoming a version of you that's capable of being at the destination that you're supposed to be at. But if you never do that and you wondering why you just in the sky going around and you're like, because you wasn't clear for landing, because you didn't create that space to be able to land, that could be changing your environment. It requires you to give up things that you have to do to become the person that you have to be in order for these things to happen. So I was thinking about that earlier. I'm like, a lot of people take off in this shit, but they don't go where it's supposed to go, and they can never land because they never created a space to be able to do so. So you haven't found your husband or your wife or your tribe because you're still associating yourself with things, people, and environments that don't serve your husband, your tribe, or your wife, or whatever it is that you're trying to build. Create the space so they can say all clear, you can land, and you can end up amongst the people